What's up, email geeks? We're back again with Steven, our fashion expert guru. What's going on, Steven?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you doing?
Pretty good. I'm excited for this Feedback Friday. After your last episode was such a success. I think it's our most viewed video, by the way.
He's just trying to make my head get bigger, aren't you?
That's it. Before we get started, I want to thank Email Monks for sponsoring this episode. Need help in creating really good email templates for your campaigns? Discover how Email Monks can make that happen in a snap. They are experts at designing and coding email templates at a great price. If you want to level up your email game, give Email Monks a try. You liked this email and you brought it to my attention, so I'd love to walk through it with you and see all the good points that you like about it.
So, first of all, like with any email, you see the subject line first. What I like about this is the black and white dots that you see. So, the 92 range collection black and white dropout now with the black and white dots. It does stand out having an emoji in the subject line because they're not used too often.
Yeah, those ones should be pretty accessible, I would think, for other email clients as well.
Yeah, I think they're pretty well supported. There were some new emojis released, I think, last month, but these have been out a while, so support should be good.
I usually put them at the end of subject lines, just for the ones that are not supported, so you're not leading with something that's broken, but I think in this case, I think it's really effective.
That's interesting because I always typically have emojis at the start, like
Ooh.
face have done here, so that could be an A/B test.
Yeah, good A/B test. That's an interesting subject line. The from name and subject line really works together. I think it's like pretty short and to the point, but I think it would still grab your attention in the inbox.
Definitely, and it's basically says what it is. There's no clickbait or anything like that going on. It's basically launching a new collection.
So to jump into the design of this email, this black and white colorway really stands out to me.
So the black and white is heavily featured in this email design. So going from the subject line completely ties into the email design, with the exception about this red new arrivals, but that's what makes it stand out. First of all, you're hit by this big title, 92 range collection, a nice little graphic to the left-hand side. It all just works. It's not closed in either. It's got lots of breathing room. And it just flows.
Yeah, I liked how this arrow is like really pointing your eye to kind of scroll down through the rest of the email, but it also matches up really well with some of these designs within the clothing, it looks like. Yeah, this top navigation, a lot of the stuff is, pretty good with plain text. And I did notice on mobile that the navigation hides on mobile.
Yeah, there was a discussion on Email Geeks a couple of weeks back, I think it is now, where people were talking about how the hamburger menu was fading out. People were actually putting the full menus back in on mobile, whereas before they were trying to hide them in accordion menus or hamburger menus, whatever you prefer to call them.
I don't mind that navigation that much. I think it's pretty pared down, and the new arrivals being a different color definitely makes it stand out. So it seems like something that they really want you to pay attention to as well. I guess this CTA size could be a little bit bigger maybe, because I feel like this copy might be competing with the navigation potentially.
That is one thing. It's a case of what do you want the reader or the customer to see first. So it could be just arguing against each other. But overall, I think it works really well. It looks like it's designed with mobile first in mind.
Yeah, this edge-to-edge imagery is really nice on this first image. And this, inverted pyramid design definitely makes you want to click. I guess the only thing kind of going throughout this email that would be kind of fun if there was some sort of animation, maybe to grab your attention in the first part of the section, even if some of these symbols were animating in some way, but I think it still performs really well.
What I thought would be interesting was how they implemented the patterns, because at first I thought they might have done background images, but on a closer look, it just looks like they've just used one massive image and sliced it up going down. If they had done background images, they could have had an opportunity to use a Z index or a Z index.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
And had some of these inverted pyramids animating downwards to encourage the viewer to scroll down even more.
How hard do you think it would have been to code, though? I feel like that would have been a big push.
Yeah, there would have been a lot of testing involved, definitely. And it also depends on the share of the inboxes that people use on their lists. We still know Outlook's a big player, even though the new version of Outlook does support GIFs, which is nice.
Is that for real yet? Are we sure? Is that for real?
Yeah, on my work inbox.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
We use 365, and it has gone to 365 level. You don't need to be in a special beta or
nice.
Like
I would assume this like consumer facing people, they might be on iPhones or Gmail, especially with like fashion brands. Maybe that's a larger market share. So, but overall, I think, this top section grabs your attention and kind of brings you down through the rest of the email. So let's go down through the rest. I do like these features of these individual items kind of contrasting with the white and black.
Again, the design has been really thought of when designing this email. For instance, this fleece that I'm looking at, the men's 92 range fleece anorak, because it's majority white, they've overlaid it just slightly from the black onto the white. I think it just makes it stand out quite a lot. What is interesting as well is that there's no prices in this, which does encourage you to click through, but it's a case of, could the price usually put people off, or is it you just want people to click through?
I feel like sales, would have prices, especially when you can show like the before and after sale price. But with this new collection launch, I could definitely see them focusing just on the product and getting you to click through to the page. But that was interesting. I noticed that too, that the prices aren't included. I wonder if that, would turn people off. I think too, even I guess North Face is slightly a luxury brand. So when you're paying, maybe like $100 for this or something, they might not want to show the price.
I say you're in the right ballpark for North Face. It is one of the brands that we stock at my work, and it is rather popular. And again, this is their own email, so it will undoubtedly perform well for them.
I definitely like on mobile the full screen. It really kind of makes like the products almost feel like they're floating. Like you said, the Z-axis, even though these are just images, it is sort of faking that with how they're laying this out.
Yeah, and the drop shadow on the images as well, just to give you that sense that they're kind of there.
I like the switch up on the CTA color too. That Shop Now really feels integrated within the image. And even though this isn't all one image, like some of the emails that we've seen before, they've sort of sliced it up so that it still can be live text, which is really nice.
Even though it's sliced and diced, as I like to call it, they have put the effort in to keep as much live text as possible, which is really good to see, because some people or some brands might not have the time, resources to spend that extra, 5-10 minutes trying to code up live text and then test it at the same time.
I think some of the CTAs on mobile are a little wonky with like their sizing. I think the text sizes might be a little different. Some of them are, full width. I'm not sure if this one is even supposed to be full width. I don't think it is. But I think that them kind of coding the email this way facilitates them to have a really nice mobile and desktop experience across the board. Now, I like this catch-all footer too in the bottom. This text size, it seems right on desktop and mobile with the little icons and stuff.
They repeat the nav bar from the top at the bottom, which I guess you don't always want to scroll all the way back up.
Yeah, on desktop, for sure.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what the difference in clicks are compared to the top and bottom navigation. Then you've got your typical social media icons. Strava is...
I think it's like an exercise service. I think we featured some of their emails on our site too. That's an interesting icon here to get people to click through. I guess we'll click it.
That's what the North Face is. It's a very adventurous outdoor brand. So
athletics.
Linking to that is a bit of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, I guess the contacts, view in browser, I think this is the right place for a view in browser link, at least for me. Even on mobile, I like it at the bottom more often than not. Yeah,
there is big talk on whether you should have it in the top or bottom. Same with the unsubscribe. Try and make it as easy as possible, because there's arguments for and against, and one of the arguments for having it at the top is if it's broken, you want to see the view in browser link as soon as possible.
That makes sense.
But like say, if you're used to it at the bottom, then you kind of know it's there.
True. That also makes sense. I really very rarely ever have a broken email experience. I guess I'm always using a really good email client then, but
yeah,
I guess the consideration of people that might be on some weird email client that doesn't support this kind of stuff.
Yeah, when I typically code up emails, I try and have them look as perfect as possible in all email clients, even if it stresses me out sometimes, getting it to look right in Outlook 2003 and 2007 and whatnot.
I don't think this email would even need legal, really, but they do have these terms of use and privacy policy, which I guess are nice additions to this template.
It could be to do with the whole GDPR, having it there so you can have access to the privacy policy.
That's a nice quick link, I guess.
But what I did notice as well is in the code of this email, it uses...
We're looking at code now? Uh-oh.
Keeping you on your toes, Matt. Keeping you on the toes. Just there's two class names that stood out to me is small 12 and large 12 columns. So that to me sounds like they've used some sort of like CSS grid.
Yeah, the percentage. I'm not as familiar with using percentages, really, I don't think. That's a little newer to me. I'm not the best email coder in the world, but...
No, it's just interesting because I'm a big fan of tables. I've not switched to divs yet, but using something like a CSS grid to code emails is just... I've not really seen it before. So it's just interesting to see that they've used it in this. As opposed to someone like me or you sitting there and coding out all the CSS specifically. So it just makes me wonder what the support is like.
This is a pretty good email. I think it reminds me a lot of Nike's email, surprisingly. I guess it's the same color palette, potentially.
Well, it's that, and it's the whole mobile-first approach as well. Because in the Nike emails, they do the same full image width, big images that scale down to look really good on mobile.
Yeah, I think this definitely, the mobile first is shining through. I think there might be some weird glitches on some of these CTAs, but yeah, overall, I really like how this email is coded and made. I think it's pretty simple, but it is a really good design as well. I don't think they went overboard with anything. I'm trying to think what I might add to this email.
In terms of adding to it, I don't think it needs it, to be honest. The design is just really good. It's like what you mentioned at the start. Maybe a bit of animation wouldn't go amiss, but it just depends on what kind of lead time the developers had at the North Face.
I'm trying to think if there's any like dynamic things or like interactive elements that maybe they could bring into this email. I'm not sure if there's anything on the fashion side that you've sort of seen that brands are doing with some of that data.
At the moment, I've not seen many brands explore interactivity in email that well. I've tried to do it on our emails with adding videos in and the standard animated GIFs, but other than that, it seems like the fashion brands at the most push to just a bit of animated GIFs, which I'd like to see them try and experiment more. It'd be good to see other fashion brands just see what they can do. I mean, when we were on about the Z-axis earlier, it reminded me of the Taco Bell email where they had the 3 different customers going through their morning, and as you scroll down, things happened. Having something like that would be interesting. So maybe having the image of the hoodie, as you scroll down, it gets put into the packaging and then sent to your door, so you see the journey from start to finish.
If you click through to the landing page, I think there are some little minor details. I think this load-in animation is kind of cool. That's something that we could easily potentially replicate in email with CSS. And these hover effects are interesting. I'm not sure if it's worth their time, maybe. But yeah, they already have some of these GIFs sort of animating on their landing page, some of these things moving. So I think that could be a piece that they bring into the email. I guess I understand that keeping it lightweight definitely is a goal as well for them, but I think some of those things might make it stand out a little bit more. And I really like this red color. I guess they could try to maybe incorporate that somewhere else other than just the new arrivals to maybe grab your attention a little bit more.
Also, talking about the landing page that you click through on, there is an alternative colorway when you hover over the purple and blue. You could potentially have something like that in email with the checkbox hack.
I really like that. Even like a hover effect maybe on that top image to switch back and forth or something. I really like that being interactive, though. If you could switch between those 2 colorways, that'd be really cool. This is just an image, so with that toggle here or something like that, you could easily toggle this single image into the 2 different colorways, and I think it would add a lot of value to the email.
The only thing that you need to consider with that is obviously the weight of the images.
For older clients, just this static fallback would be enough almost. I would say just that progressive enhancement of having that interactive element would be enough for people like on iPhones or something.
I'm not sure what the exact statistic is right now, but from what I recall, it was about 75% of emails are opened on mobile. So if people on your list don't use Lotus Note 7 or whatnot, is there a reason for you to try and make sure that your email still works on it? Or do you just accept it and push forward?
I guess if I really liked that colorway and I wasn't able to see it on this email, maybe there's a separate email that shows that colorway a little bit more, but I think having that interactive element would be a good feature if they could do it.
It's kind of making me want to try and code it up myself. Yeah.
You're going to send them back their email with all the changes you made? Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like this one. I think that their communication is really clean. I have to look at some of their other emails, but I think they're doing some smart stuff with the emails that they're sending.
They're definitely one to watch because this email compared to the other ones that I've seen is a lot different. So it does show that they are looking into different email designs and how they can take it forward.
Yeah, I think this is a really good example of a fashion email balancing live text and images. I think that's always a difficult thing for, when you're focusing just on the product images to do. I think all your points are really smart, though, bringing in, both a balance of live text and images. Any last notes? Any other feedback?
No, that's it. To sum it up, great design, very clean. Obviously, call to action stand out, which is what you want. Just keep an eye out for the North Face.
Yeah, they're doing definitely good stuff. So where can we find you, Stephen? Are you on Twitter or just on Slack?
I'm on Twitter at SEO1337, and you can always catch me on the Email Geek Slack, especially in the random channel.
I know.
That is my domain.
You're the guy.
I'm always about on there.
Thanks for sitting down. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thank you for having me again. It's been a pleasure.
If you have any feedback on the series, please leave a comment down below. Hit subscribe to keep up with future episodes. Thank you for giving a listen and letting our sponsors know you love really good emails.